Hello, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, and a very happy Friday to everybody out there. Hopefully, you all have a very good weekend. Stay safe out there, as it's supposed to get very, very cold where I am here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I don't really know what the weather is supposed to be like there for you, TJ, there in the Illinois area. Also, welcome into the show. CEO of Prime Sports World, Mr. Izzy Rivera. I'm David Huffman. Right there is the co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. On today's episode of The Prime, we're going to talk about Pascal Siakam getting traded earlier this week. I believe it was on Wednesday when that news broke. How you guys doing, gentlemen? What's up? Happy Friday.
I still got to go to work, so yeah.
Yeah,
it's all good. Hey, TJ, man. I'm gonna take a shot for you, all right?
I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking right now.
He said I'm taking one right now.
I gotta go to work in like
God, hey, TJ, God bless you tonight, okay? God bless you.
God bless you. But let's get right into it without wasting any more time. Let's talk about Pascal Siakam going to the Circle City. The Indiana Pacers get Pascal Siakam and a future second-round pick. The Raptors get Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, Kiera Lewis from the New Orleans Pelicans.
Bruce Brown. I caught
that. I did.
Right.
2 2024 first-round picks, a 2026 first-round pick that's top 4 protected, and the Pelicans get cash considerations. A low-key, sneaky move by the Indiana Pacers. Because Kiera Lewis is involved in this trade, for some reason that makes the money work, and the Pacers didn't have to include another player. I have no idea how that works or how they made it work, but sometimes these GMs in the NBA are just playing chess. A lot of us are playing checkers, because I was with a coworker who's a Pacers fan before this trade went final. And I was looking at it through the trade machine, and I'm like, man, I don't see a way they can make this trade work with that construction. Like, I ran it through the machine. I'm like, there's no way. Like, there's got to be another player involved, maybe even 2. And then the trade breaks like 20 minutes later. He calls me at my desk, and I'm like, I know. And this is, that's the deal. What do you guys think? Thoughts on the deal?
That's why the trade machine can't be taken as gospel, because you ran that trade how many times and it didn't work. and then they found a way
Well,
to make
they traded for Kira Lewis and gave cash back to the Pelicans, and then they used that contract to facilitate this trade. I never anticipated that they would trade. That I never anticipated the Pelicans would just give up on Kira Lewis for some cash and give up a second round pick.
ain't no giving up on him. Like he's not playing. Like he's just they stashed him away in the on their G League team.
Man, if I was Kira Lewis, I'd be like, man, they traded me for cash.
If you're Kira Lewis, you're like, hey, I can play now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can.
I mean, that's the point. I mean, you can get on the court. Let's talk about the main components of this trade. Let's talk about the Pacers first. What are your thoughts on the Pacers side of this?
All right, I'm gonna go first because I think mine might come off as a bit disrespectful, and I'm here for it. I want all the smoke. Take a swig of this here Angry Orchard, sponsored by Angry Orchard. Anyway,
no, we're not.
It's a
No,
joke,
we're not.
Izzy. It's a joke, Izzy. It's a joke. So I'm
Man, we can get a sponsor. Let's get us a Busch Light sponsor. Just free for
It's David to take a shotgun at the end of every show.
Every episode, let's just take a shotgun to the dome, man. Come on.
All right, go ahead, TJ. My bad.
All right, I'm listening to First Take, and Brian Windhorst is on. He's on there breaking down the trade, and maybe it's because of where the Pacers are right now. They're 7th, and what's his name? Halliburton is dealing with a hamstring injury. He's out. But Brian Windhorst says, like, this move could push them into the 4th spot. I'm like, I'm like, the 4th spot? That's your ceiling? 4th in the East. That's what you want to settle for, Indiana. If you're a Pacers fan and you heard that, and you're like, we gave up 3 first-round picks for the 4th seed? Are you kidding me? No, I'm livid. This move, like, if this move doesn't make us better than the Celtics, better than the Sixers, better than the Bucks, then what the hell are we doing? We gave up 3 first-round. That's how I'm looking at it. You gave up 3 first-round picks to be the 4th seed. Wow.
I mean, dude, they're not. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna. I mean, the Celtics are playing at such a high level right now. I mean, they got a lead right now in Denver. They're the most complete team in the NBA, in my opinion. I mean,
Windhorst is wrong. I mean, this probably maybe makes them. They're not better than Milwaukee or Boston on both of those teams' best days. I think they can give the Sixers all they can handle in the series, maybe. But
absolutely.
But I like this trade for Indiana. I think if you talked about it sort of in the group chat, I just don't think these first round picks are that valuable. Like they're a first round pick this year, which is not going to be in the lottery unless things completely collapse. And then it's like a weird like worst of scenario where it's like the worst of. It'll probably be Oklahoma City's first round pick, which isn't going to be a lottery either. And then 2 picks 2 years ago from now, which is kind of seemed like a Pascal Siakam already handshake deal. He's going to re-sign with Indiana. Mm-hmm. That pick in 2 years isn't going to be all that valuable either. It's going to be outside the lottery, and yes, you could still get talent outside the lottery, but not that much talent. Like it's pretty rare.
You're not going to get a franchise player.
Maybe not.
In the later round.
Probably not.
Your chances are slim to none at getting a franchise player. So you are right about that, David. When you were saying that a couple days ago, I was like, I had to think about it. I'm like, yeah, he's actually kind of right. Those picks are most likely those picks are going to be rotational players.
And if things go completely south, it's the 2026 is top 4 protected, and so like if things go really off the rails, I mean you're protected a little bit.
But I did say this that the pace that the Raptors could package up all those picks. I know they're stockpiling picks. They could package up all those picks and maybe move up in the first round. With someone, especially in this draft, with someone who has multiple first round picks between like the 1 and 14 in the lottery range, So, but I mean, personnel rise. I like this move, especially for Indiana, because let's not act like Miles Turner is a guy that we can just give it to him in the post and he's going to automatically give us a bucket. I mean, Pascal Siakam, you can give that guy the ball in the post, he's going to give you a bucket. Probably 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 times. on a smaller power forward or a guy, on a power forward. And then also you don't lose any of your young talent. You still are able to keep Benedict Mathurin. You're still able to keep Aaron Nismith. You're still able to keep Obi Toppin. You're still able to keep Buddy Hield. So
I still think he gets dealt. I still think he gets dealt.
The other thing, because they kept those guys. I mean, Jalen Smith, they kept him as well. I mean, Jarris Walker, their rookie, doesn't play a whole lot, but they kept him on their team.
He doesn't play at all.
If this team wanted to try to make another deal, like at some point before the deadline, they have the ammunition to do so. They don't necessarily have the draft capital because I don't think they can trade another pick until 2028, 2030. But if they want to try to package up some other stuff, and they can make this team better even going forward. I also think I like about Pascal Siakam. He becomes the guy you put on Giannis. He becomes the guy you put on Jason Tatum. Like, he's a versatile defender. He makes them a better defensive basketball team. Football, still in the minus science of football, but he elevates the ceiling just a little bit for this Indiana Pacers team. If they get Tyrese Halliburton back, I mean, give me Turner, Halliburton, and Pascal Siakam. I mean, that's a pretty formidable threesome right there in Indiana.
Blah, blah, blah.
I knew he was gonna say something.
No.
Because I get what you're saying, TJ. Because it's like, does this team really have a chance at beating those three teams in a 7-game series, especially with whatever their defensive deficiencies are? They're already a pretty poor defensive team.
Bottom 5 in the NBA in defensive.
Yeah, so they have no concept of, it's because they got a lot of young guys that just have no concept of defense at the pro level. And so adding Pascal Siakam is going to make them a little better, but I don't think it's a needle mover. You are right, though. You can put him on Giannis. You can put him on whoever the hell, Jason Tatum, but you still, with those teams, you still got to worry about Dame Lillard. You still got to worry. I mean, you still got to worry about, Chris Middleton. You still got to worry for the Sixers. You got to worry about Tyrese Maxey. I mean, for the Celtics, you got to worry about Jaylen Brown. You got to worry about, guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday,
and I think the
Porzingis,
Sixers, Milwaukee, and Boston, they're all going to make some sort of trade before the deadline too to improve their rosters. Like, I don't think any of those three teams that we just mentioned are going to be what they are at the end of the season. Like, I imagine all three of those teams will make some sort of trade on the edges. DeJounte Murray is weirdly involved in like Milwaukee Bucks rumors. Even though I don't know how they can pull off that kind of trade or why they'd even want to.
They can't. They can't.
But that's the rumor mill, whatever. But I do think this makes the Indiana Pacers a little more formidable, especially in the playoffs, especially on the defensive side of the basketball. I like this trade for Indiana. Let's go to the other side for the Toronto Raptors, as they have finally, after many seasons of people talking about this for the Toronto, they finally hit the reset button, and they're finally going to be in a position where, like, they have these valuable assets. They're not going to let them walk away for nothing. They got something for OG Anunoby, and they got something for Pascal Siakam. What do you think about this trade for Toronto?
It was time. It was time. Brother. My fault, Izzy. It was time.
No. Go ahead.
It was time. Like, I think as an organization, you realize very fast who's a 1, who's a 2, who's a 3. And if you have a bunch of guys on your team who are, like, if you have 2s on your team, you can only get so far. Right, and we saw that in Toronto, right? When it was DeMar and Pascal for all those years, and who they keep running into? LeBron. It was DeMar, it was Pascal, it was Kyle Lowry, and then you throw in rookie, what's his name, OG Anunoby. It's just a bunch of 2s, and a couple guys thinking they're 1s, trying to be 1s, and it's just like, no, that's a 1. Kawhi comes in, you win the chip. He goes away, you don't even get close to what you were with him. Pascal Siakam is a 2. He's a very good 2. Like, don't get me wrong. Anybody, like, there are 30 teams in the NBA, all 30 can use a Pascal Siakam. Right? All agree?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Dude who plays hard. Length and athletic. Like, you can defend all 1 through 5.
If you're Toronto, you've identified the guy that you think can be your 1 in Scotty Barnes. The goal now for Masai Ujiri right now is to reshape this team around Scotty Barnes. And right now, I watched the game last night against the Bulls, and Izzy brought up that what's his name, Jakob Pertl didn't play. So when you take out Jakob Pertl, they're small. They are tiny. They are little. Like Scotty Barnes, he can rebound, but he ain't like Vooch. Pretty much, Vooch had his way. Vooch had 9 rebounds going into half. If it wasn't for his rotational breaks, Vooch probably would have had his routine double before the half. I'm not lying. I watched the whole game. They killed the Raptors in the paint. So if you're Masai Ujiri, then the goal now for Toronto is like understand what you are. All right, we're in somewhat of a rebuild. Do we have any more pieces that can get moved? Me personally, I don't know. I don't think so.
I think Gary Trent Jr. I think is a guy that I know he's
Okay,
been
He
hasn't been really all that good this season, but he's a guy who can really shoot the three, can defend a little bit, can play make a little bit. Bruce Brown is another guy who's on an expiring deal that you could potentially look to move before the deadline.
You think they buy him out? You think they buy him out?
No, I think they trade him away. They
were playing his ass yesterday.
There's a month. There's a month before the deadline. I mean, they could easily look to move him.
He got that the other day and played 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, he's one of those guys. It's just like he's plug and play. I mean,
and they signed Jalen McDaniels as a guy who's like a 3.
Doesn't play.
He doesn't play much, but he was okay in Philadelphia last year.
Not just that, Izzy. Lottery pick. You drafted Grady Dick. Don't play him.
Yeah, he still hasn't really played this. He hasn't played this year either.
And I think for Kira Lewis, I think this is a really opportunity to get a fresh start somewhere new. And like he had a super crazy hype coming out of the draft, and he just never lived up to expectations because he never played much for the New Orleans Pelicans. But like this is an opportunity for him to go somewhere new, hit the reset button.
So yeah,
I mean, he got a lot, plethora. He's got a lot of people.
Yeah, if you're Toronto, like if you're a player on the Toronto Raptors, you look at this as an opportunity to be like, hey, I can literally showcase my talent. Peyton Pritchard for the Boston Celtics, he had a beautiful mindset on his approach. Like they asked him about garbage time because we saw last season Peyton Pritchard was a key rotational guy, right? This season, we barely see him. If he does get in, it's garbage time. Peyton Pritchard said, no, that's not garbage time. To me, that's an opportunity to hoop. 3-4 minutes at the end of the game, we blowing somebody out or we getting blown out. I can get all that time. Yeah, that's a showcase for me to hoop.
The Celtics are blowing everybody out damn near, 5 minutes into the third quarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're up by 3
games. So he's getting extended minutes this season.
Pascal Siakam's gonna make his debut today. So
yeah, but for the Raptors, I just think Masai Ujiri, Pascal Siakam was on an expiring deal. He probably wasn't going to sign. He saw the writings on the wall. This is a young team. They're going younger. Especially acquiring RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, who are younger type of players. You got a Scotty Barnes who is ready to take that next step, as TJ alluded to. And you got Dennis Schroeder, who's another nice veteran on this team. I do think they could make another move, small trade for Gary Trent, but why would they do that? I mean, Gary Trent, can give them solid minutes coming off the bench. Once they get Grady Dick back, he's a nice 3-and-D type of player. And I just think this Toronto Raptors team, I think a guy like Masai Ujiri knows what he's doing. I mean, he's won an NBA championship. I mean, he pulled off that Kawhi Leonard trade to get Toronto NBA championship. Yeah, a master class, right? And so he knows this is a guy that knows his basketball. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to evaluate young talent. I mean, he's the guy that's always heavily involved with basketball beyond borders. With in Africa with the Pascal Siakam, a lot of those other guys that Joel Embiid, I believe, was in that, and so this guy is a really great basketball mind when it comes to evaluating young talent. And I just think this is the opportunity for the Raptors to kind of not look right now. The big picture is not now, but the big picture is obviously it's we're worrying about later. We're in about 2-3 years down the road. What is Scotty Barnes going to be? Scotty Barnes is going to be a guy that's going to give you possibly a block, 25 points and 8 rebounds. This is a guy that is athletically, he can win the defensive player of the year. I mean, he can be up for contention. He's make an all defensive team in the NBA, as well as making all NBA team period, and a perennial all-star type of player. RJ Barrett, this is a guy that had a lot of talent. Swinging that trade for him and Quickly, who I think Quickly is probably going to sign with the Raptors when it's all said and done.
Well, he'll be a restricted free agent, so they'll be able to match anything.
They'll be able to match anything that he gets. So I do think that, look, man, this guy he's done a masterclass of a job since he's gotten the job, and I think he knows what he's doing. And this is an opportunity for the Raptors to just go younger and just continue. And they got something for him. I knew he was going to be gone, man. I said it a couple weeks ago. They got something for him as opposed to
losing him for nothing.
Keeping him all season, making a play and not getting nothing for him.
On the Pelican side of this, by trading away Kira Lewis, they get underneath the luxury tax threshold, and that's for one of the cheapest franchises in the NBA. I guess that's important to them.
And cheap in a bad way, not a good way. Cheap in a very bad way. Izzy, you brought up an interesting point about him orchestrating the Kawhi Leonard trade. When David called it a masterclass, I call it. I'm gonna be honest. I call it luck. You had a disgruntled Kawhi Leonard who wanted out. He didn't want to be in San Antonio anymore. He had his preferred destination in LA, and the Spurs are like, no, we're gonna trade you. We're gonna trade you to where we want to trade you. You don't no. So he was able to orchestrate that trade. It's like, hey, we got a player in DeMar DeRozan who is on that caliber of Kawhi Leonard. He wants out. Let's just help each other out here. That was luck.
Moving on from there, let's talk about grades. If you had to give each of these, I'm not even going to really factor in the Pelicans, but if you had to give a grade to the Pacers and the Raptors, what is a grade for you guys on this trade for each side?
So we're ignoring.
You know what? I'll probably give it a. I'm gonna give it a B.
If I'm grading the Pelicans, I'm giving them a D. So
they didn't get anything involved. They got some cash, some throwaway money.
They got under the electric tax. Kudos.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. Yeah. I actually, for the Pacers, I'm gonna give this a B plus. I mean, they got rid of some picks that probably they want to win now. They know they have a lot of talent right now to win and to compete in the NBA playoffs. I mean, when you're a top 4 seed, anything goes. We've seen this, right? In the playoffs.
We haven't.
You give up. Come on, TJ. We just seen the Bucks in the Celtics last year.
No.
Come on, TJ. Stop playing with
me. We saw the Heat. We saw the Heat beat up on a beat up Bucks team. We saw Giannis with a back injury that usually keeps a person down a month, but because they were in a playoff scenario, Giannis couldn't rest the way he wanted to. He had to play with a bad back, and it was evident. You're asking the Pacers, who give up 130 points a game. I am not exaggerating. It's right up there. They give up a lot of. One guy doesn't fix that. Is he? One guy.
No, I know one guy's not going to fix that. I mean, shit. When you're going to play, look, when you're the only.
Go ahead. Oh, he froze.
We lose him?
Yeah,
we'll have him come back. I'll give my grades on this real quick.
You can't hear me? Oh.
There you go.
B plus for the Pacers, and I'm going to give it a B for the Raptors. Actually, I'll give it a B for the Raptors. It's a solid B. I mean, you get something for Pascal Siakam. It wasn't bad, but I mean, you don't get some desirable picks. But you can turn those picks into something.
On the Raptors front, that's an A. You got three first
rounders.
You did exactly what you were supposed to do. It's like, hey, I got the hot commodity. I got the person you want. You goddamn right. I'm finna ask for the farm. You
Yeah,
I mean, I
goddamn
would have
right.
just, I would have loved. I mean, we
the
got Bruce
biggest,
Brown, but I would have
the
loved. I would
biggest
have loved to
loser here
get.
has got to be the Warriors, right? I mean,
No, the
they didn't
biggest
want
loser is the Philadelphia 76ers.
I would have loved for the Raptors to ask for. I would have loved for the Raptors. I know they got Bruce Brown, but I would have loved for the Raptors to maybe ask for one of their other key guys.
I bet they
Benedict Mathurin or something like that,
yeah,
right? Right, David?
Because the Warriors weren't going to give up Jonathan Kuminga, which is why that trade didn't go through.
Which is dumb. I mean, like, not
which is
not,
why I give it a B.
It's
But
dumb,
hey,
it's dumb, but it's not dumb. It's dumb, but it's not dumb. Because if you're the Warriors, like, no, Kuminga is going to be your version of Draymond going forward.
When it comes to the playoffs, though, TJ,
I got it.
For the Pacers, their best matchup would be against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a team that has fallen off a little bit defensively, a lot of it defensively. They can get in the track meet with them. They've already beat that team 4 teams. Now you're adding a Pascal Siakam. Going against Philly is another team that is a little sketchy, but I think they could be able to beat them. The only team I'm really worried about if I'm the Pacers, it's a really bad matchup in the first round is the Boston Celtics. And if you're the 4 seed, you're going to match up with them in the second round.
I wouldn't want to play the Knicks either.
I'm not scared of the Knicks. I'm not scared.
That would probably be like and
I just said it'd be an interesting matchup. I didn't think they'd lose to them. I just think it would be interesting. Pacers, I'm going to give them a B. Yeah, they gave up 3 first-round picks. It's something that also concerns me. So they're going to have to pay him the 5-year max, right? He's going to be 35 years old when that contract is expired. Is he going to be still worth damn near $50 million when he's 35 years old? I'm not so sure.
No, so
Pascal Siakam.
Izzy brought up the playoff scenario. All right, so check it out, right? They don't beat Milwaukee. They don't beat Philly. They don't beat Boston. They don't. Like it's on paper, it's like, yeah, we can hold our own. Like you like the matchups, quote unquote, on paper. But as me and David love to say time and time again, you don't play the game on paper. You don't play the game on paper. So all right, so Milwaukee. Let's just bring up Milwaukee.
When I look at Milwaukee, their bench is just average.
Okay, so you
as opposed to Indiana, they're coming off the bench with Benedict Mathurin.
I would rather have Indiana than Milwaukee's right now.
And you're asking Rick Carlisle to count on, let's be honest, guys who've never been there before to come up big against a team who has advantage. Milwaukee. Period.
Who has, but they're on the Raptors side of this, yeah, I give it an A-. I think it was time to move off of both of your 2 players. It's an A-. Yeah, I think this is one of those trades where we're going to talk about this a couple years from now. It's going to be a win-win all around.
Here Toronto. Yeah, this is an A. Like you said, you got picks for the future. You still got a guy in Gary Trent Jr. who you could, I don't know, either probably get a second for him, which is 2nd-round picks. Obviously, every 2nd-round pick ain't gonna turn into Jokic, but you never know, right? You never know. If you're Indiana again, David, I know you brought up the handshake deal about an extension. Damn it! If it ain't signed, and if you ain't got no deal, if ain't nothing signed, you ain't got no deal. Man, you had a very clear argument, not even a discussion, an argument years ago on the triangle about. Remember we got into it about DeAndre Jordan with the Mavericks?
Yeah.
And like you said, like you had a money deal, you had a handshake deal, and my argument was anything signed? No, then there was no deal. There's nothing signed here.
I know.
I
think Pascal Siakam would be leaving $80 million on the table if he went somewhere else. You will not be able to recover that kind of money if you're Pascal Siakam.
We're talking about his last big contract.
The other thing that I really like about Indiana, like they don't get free agents. Like free agents aren't coming to Indiana. So if you want a guy, this is how you have to get them via the trade.
They haven't attracted free agents since the Paul George era.
Even then,
and even in the free agents they got, they were like second.
I mean, even in the Reggie Miller era, I mean, what was the last time a big name free agent ever went to the Indiana?
David West, and like I said, he won a big name. He was second. Like I said, he's like second tier.
I mean, he's one of those guys that like people who follow the NBA know. But like, if you're like a casual NBA fan, you don't know who David West was back then.
No, I don't know.
I mean, look. Nobody's going to Naptown. I mean, it's out of all the Midwest cities, I'd rather prefer to go to Chicago, Milwaukee.
Me personally, like to answer your question, David, the last big name, real talk, the last big name was Mark Jackson.
And that was like Mark Jackson, like later on, right after
the Knicks,
after his Knicks days, because he was a young tenderoni when he was on, with Indiana. I believe Indiana was the team that drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. But he was young when he went on Indiana at first, and then he went to the Knicks, and then he came back later on in his career. So, you had those good teams with him, Chris Mullin, Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Dale Davis. What I mean?
And they had those battles with the Knicks. Like it was like the Davis boys matched up perfect with Ewing and
Jalen Rose
and Anthony. No, that was
Travis
later.
Best.
That was later. I'm talking like in the night. I'm talking like Jordan retired.
Mid 90s.
I'm talking about mid 90s. The Knicks get rid of Mark Jackson. Free agent. I think Mark Jackson went to he spent like a couple years with the Clippers too. And then he goes to the Pacers, and it's like those Pacer teams, like they kept running, like them and the Knicks kept butting heads. Like those battles were, but
let us know down in the grades if you're watching the show here on Facebook. Let us know what grades you think for this deal. Pretty much we're all positive on both sides on this deal. Let's swing into Go Talk. TJ, you got Go Talk today?
Yeah, I got Go Talk.
Let's go.
Okay.
If you're not familiar, this is where we get some shine to some players who necessarily didn't get the shine while they were in the association. This is not going to be your LeBron, Michael Jordan conversation. Those have been done to death. You're going to be your lesser-known players, putting them up against each other. And TJ has today's Go Talk. Let's go.
All right, so player one was a first-round draft pick out of Wake Forest. In 2009. Take that back. 2009. First round pick, 2009, out of Wake Forest. Played for the Bucks, no particular order. Bucks, Celtics, Hawks, Timberwolves, Pacers. Read those again. Bucks, Celtics, Pacers, Timberwolves, Hawks. Those are the teams. One-time champ, one-time All-Star, and then he has a couple college accolades. Career points, 10,061. That's 12 a game. 1,989 rebounds. That's 2.4 a game. And 4,585 assists. That's 5.6 or 6 assists a game. So 12, 2, and 6 assists a game.
So he played for the Celtics, Bucks, Celtics, Hawks, Timberwolves, and Pacers?
Yes.
He's a one-time champion.
One-time champion.
He was drafted in 2007. Who's he drafted?
He was drafted by 2009. 2009.
First-round pick out of Wake Forest.
First-round pick, 2009.
When did he play? Is he still in the league?
No, he's done. He's retired.
When did he retire?
2021. Literally his last season. 2021.
All right, so the only team that he could have won that title with would either be the Celtics or the Bucks. So he must have been on that Celtics team in 2013 or 20. Wait, no,
he didn't win it. He probably won it with the Bucks.
Yeah, he must have won it on the Bucks.
Yeah, just recently.
The Bucks. So the Celtics won the chip the year before this draft.
Yeah. That's
Man,
tough, man.
I don't know.
Wake Forest guys, man. I mean,
Izzy, if you don't get this, I sort of you really gonna kick yourself if you don't get this one.
man.
So he was drafted by the Celtics.
One with the Bucks.
I didn't say that.
One with the Bucks is a Wake Forest dude. Who was he drafted by again?
He didn't say.
I didn't say.
He didn't say. Okay, can I get a draft? Can we get
the team?
Can I get a lifeline? Can I get a draft?
Can I get a lifeline? Drafted by, he said, "Can I get a lifeline?" He's drafted by the Hawks.
Drafted by the Hawks. One with the Bucks.
I got nothing on this. I have
Wow.
no idea.
Drafted by the Hawks. Hold on. I'm trying to think of teams.
Come on,
Oh, Jeff Teague.
Jeff Teague.
Oh man, what? All right, Jeff Teague.
Player one is Jeff Teague. All right, player two was
I thought Jeff Teague went to Ohio State.
no, he went to Wake Forest.
Okay.
Fun fact: Jeff Teague's actually coaching at the high school he went to. Him and his brother went to the same high school.
Yeah, they're from Indy, right? They went to
they're from Indiana. Pike.
Yeah, they went to Pike. Yeah, Pike is.
Player two was a second round draft pick out back in 1993 out of Cincinnati. 1993 second round draft pick.
Get this one.
You say I ain't gonna get this. He played from 93 to 06. That's long. That is a long career.
13-year career, son.
Played for the Lakers, Nuggets, Mavericks, Warriors, Blazers, and the Spurs.
And what are his accolades?
One-time All-Star, All-NBA, NBA All-Rookie second team, and some award in college that they don't even make anymore. NBA statistics: 12,658 points. That's 14 a game. 2,545 rebounds, 2.9 or three rebounds a game, and 5,777 assists, 6.6 or 7 a game. So 14, 3, and 7 are his career numbers.
Lakers
7 assists.
Yeah.
6.6. I'm gonna round that up to 7.
Lakers, Nuggets, Mavericks, Spurs, Blazers. I'm sure. I think it was
Nuggets, Mavericks, Spurs, Blazers.
He was always one of those players that he just missed a ring. You get what I'm saying? Like he just missed it.
Oh man, I'd be dying when it comes to Cincinnati players because I really
It's not that many.
It's not that many that come out of Cincinnati other than like Kenyon Martin. We got the young man right now, Derrick Jones Jr. I believe came out of Cincinnati. There's a couple other guys that came out of Cincinnati, but not really known.
I don't know who this is either. I'm sorry.
This is gonna be who was he drafted by?
He's drafted by the Lakers, second round.
Drafted by the Lakers.
One of the few second round picks that's like, hey, that you got that. Like,
is this Nick Van Exel?
It's not Nick Van Exel, is it?
This is Nick Van Exel. Let's go.
That was the first thought when I was like, Lakers. Hold on.
Nick Van Exel got drafted by the Lakers and was an immediate contribution. As a rookie, he averaged 14 a game, 14, 5, and 3 as a rookie on the Lakers. And he played
something about Nick Van Exel.
I'm taking Nick Van Exel in this player composite. Like Nick Van Exel was a straight bucket. I
Nick
think
Van Exel was a bucket.
Yeah, I'm taking Nick Van Exel in this player. Player one. Jeff Teague has a serviceable NBA career, but Nick Van Exel was better at his height of like their best versions of themselves. Nick Van Exel was a better player.
So Nick Van Exel's best season, well, points wise, was 2001, 2002 with the Denver Nuggets. Unfortunately, he only played like half the season. Oh, he got traded. That's why. So he got traded. He got traded to Dallas that year. So 2000, he played 45. He played 45 games with the Nuggets, and then he got traded to Dallas. So that season, he averaged with the Nuggets just those 45 games. He was averaging 21, 8, and 4. Then he got traded to Dallas.
Beating the shit out of Jeff Teagues. Jeff Teague got that one All-Star. He got one All-Star, right? And that was when it was like
when they got all five of the starting lineup.
All five of their guys. Was it Damari Carroll, Kyle Korver, Joe Johnson, Jeff Teague? Who else? Al Horford all made it to the All-Star team.
Josh Smith, I think, was on that
team.
Kyle
Korver was on that team and made the All-Star team.
Was on that team. That was the Highlight Factory days.
It was.
And then they had Marvin Williams, right? Or no?
Marvin Williams. Marvin Williams played forever for the Hawks.
It was Jeff Teague. It was Joe Johnson, Kyle Korver, Marvin Williams, and Al Horford.
Man, look, let me say this. Okay, I love me some Nick Van Exel, but the era that Jeff Teague played in, he played against some really tough point guard competition. You're talking about Derrick Rose. Yeah. You're talking about Chris Paul. He played probably, Derrick Westbrook, all those guys. You're talking about guys that are probably going to be Hall of Famers. Yeah. Derrick Rose still in the air, but
he's still in the air. He's still in the air.
He's still in the air, but I think we're kind of missing on the fact that Jeff Teague's defense, like if they were to play one-on-one going up against each other, who's going to have the better night in their prime? I mean, Jeff Teague's going to make it hard on Nick Van Exel. I know he wasn't plagued as a real the best defensive player at the point guard position, but he was a sturdy guy. He could play some good defense on smaller point guards where Nick Van Exel was. But the unfortunate fact is that Jeff Teague played in an era where he was going against big-ass point guards.
In terms of small, Nick Van Exel is 6'1". Jeff Teague only 6'2". So it's not really that much of a height differential that you think it is. And so
I know. But I'm saying he was going against guys that were like 6'3", like Derrick Rose about 6'2".
No, Derrick Rose,
Westbrook's about 6'3". Yeah, he's going against some bigger, I'm talking about guys that were like sturdier, like come on, we're gonna compare Derrick Rose and and Westbrook, how they're built like tanks compared to Nick Van Exel, and Jeff Teague. So, man, it's just the errors. So I'm gonna ride with Nick Van Exel on this one, but it's a lot closer to what people think. I think Jeff Teague, if he played on a team that had lesser talent, I think his numbers would have showed out a little bit more. I think he's a better 3-point shooter than Nick Van Exel.
I think that's the argument that Nick Van Exel has. Keep in mind, like he gets there, he gets to the Lakers.
Kobe, Eddie Jones, Shaq.
Right. Young rookie Kobe. Right?
Rookie Kobe really didn't play so much.
Exactly. Like rookie Kobe wasn't like Kobe. He wasn't Kobe yet, right? So and Shaq was he literally just missed the dynasty. 99, 2000, the Lakers' first reign. He's in Denver. He's gone. So like Nick Van Exel literally just missed.
I mean, he just barely missed the Dallas ring too. I mean, obviously if they had won that series 0-2-0-3, I think that's pretty sure that's the series where Dallas went to the finals and lost to the Heat.
No. That was 2005. 2000. All right, so check it out. 2005, 2006.
You're right. Yeah.
2005, 2006. Right. Dallas goes to the finals. Where is he at? San Antonio, the team that loses to the Mavericks. Like he was one of those dudes.
He only played 11 minutes in that playoff series against that series in that playoffs. Averaged 2 points a game.
And that was his last year in the league. Like that. Like he was one of those dudes that they literally he always just missed something. Always.
But shout out to both of those. Played well in their primes.
Mm-hmm.
TJ, did you say who you were picking in that?
I didn't. Don't give me. Hey, Nick Van Exel was a bucket. Like he was the ultimate bucket getter. I remember watching one game. He shot his free throws like 2 feet behind the line. Like you know where the free throw line is, right? So back up 2 feet behind that, and it's just like, and he was netting them bitches. I was like, dude. I'm like, that's not.
He was lifting too many. He was lifting weights before the game.
I'm like, bro, that's not. I'm like, that is not normal. That is. I'm like, that's just not normal. Like you don't.
You know why I say that, right? He's lifting weights because always when you lift weights before you play basketball, it's like
the ball feel light.
Sail on you, boy. Like you just chucking that thing.
Like,
you going Nick Van Exel or you going Teague?
I would have loved to see Nick Van Exel on the team like Jeff Teague had in Atlanta. I would have loved to see that. Would have loved to, but because of the team success, I gotta go Jeff Teague. Like Jeff Teague, listen to this. Playoffs. Jeff Teague, playoffs. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then he made it with the Pacers, but he wasn't really that, he wasn't really a contributing factor. And then Minnesota, and then Milwaukee, like he didn't play again. He just rode coattails in Milwaukee for that ring. His best playoff season was 2014. That might have been the season that they went crazy. Like that. Remember they didn't lose a game for they didn't lose a game for a month. And they went 1 month of the season undefeated. They won a whole and when they came out with the Eastern Conference Player of the Month, they did their entire starting five. Because that was just 19, 4, and 5, and he shot 95% from the free throw line that playoff series. 40% from the field, 33% from three, and he was giving you 35 minutes a game.
Joe Johnson was gone by that time. Joe Johnson was in Brooklyn at that time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was in Brooklyn at that time. So that increased his scoring average because you didn't have Joe Johnson to lean on as much. Yeah. Well, man, Jeff Teague was a bucket, man. It was hard for me. I'm going Nick Van Exel.
I'll go Nick Van Exel too. But this has been the crossover. Thank you very much for joining us. We talked about Pascal Siakam being on the move. Keep an eye out for all the content here. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huffman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
We are
bring the heat, baby.
Away from Boston.
Shout out to let me sprinkle some good luck on my Green Bay Packers tomorrow, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Let's go, baby.
We'll be back here on Monday. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Peace out.